That time I recorded an entire video, but the camera was on slow motion. Hate myself. Anyways, it's been a minute. Hi everyone, I'm Jo. If you clicked on this video, odds are you want to learn a new language or you've abandoned a language that you love and you want to pick it back up. I got you, boo. I've been through this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. I might be on my 7th journey. I don't really keep count of much of anything. I've learned many languages and I will continue to learn many languages because it's my lifestyle.
Eu sou diferente em português. Suis différente en français. Sono diversa in italiano. E media freticista in Nica. Soy otra chica en español.
And in honor of my book and language learning journal Fluentish, I will be giving you my best tips, tricks, and language learning hacks because I want us all to get fluentish. I'm going to be talking about tons of resources. I've linked a free language learning starter kit in the description box. It's totally free. In that language learning kit, I'll be showing all of my resources, giving my honest recommendations. My goal is to get people motivated about language learning, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I have created a method for us not to forget. It's called the OnPar Methodology, and it was an acronym I couldn't resist as I was writing this script. P is for part 1, which is pain, planning, and patience. I was testing you. You saw the patience I was testing you. So the P is really important because a goal without a plan is just a wish. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's very much true for everything in life, but definitely for language learning. If you're trying to do one of the most difficult tasks as a human being, learn a different language, you gotta make a plan. I need to warn all of you, it's gonna take a lot longer. It's gonna take so much longer. And the patience, it's not just in the obvious, like, oh, it's gonna take time. But the patience is you need to have this resilient mindset to move past the hurdles of trying, failing, falling on your face. And then one day, 2 years later, you finally understand everything they're saying to you. That's how it works. And I woke up saying Arabic words like that I learned 7 years ago. Like, wada aina, hamsa, taleta. I'm like, what? I have not said these words since I was in Egypt back in 2014. Something is actually happening in my brain that is reviving memories from years ago that I haven't thought of, and it's waking me up in the middle of the night. This is not a linear path. It goes like this. Honeymoon stage, you're stoked, you love the words, you're romanticizing the language. You see all of this progress for yourself. That's day 1 to like day 30. Then day 31 hits and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I'll never be able to do this. And then you just hit this overwhelm, this frustration, and this complete self-loathing of I'm not smart enough to do this. I will never learn this language. I was just in that stage 2 weeks ago. If you're one of the rare people who can push through and persevere, which is the 4th P of part 1, you will then be rewarded with the other stage, which is like suddenly you understand all of Dracula without a translator. And you don't even know how this happened, but I'll tell you how it happened because of the pain that we started this whole conversation with. To get over the pain, you need patience and you also need a plan. The planning is really easy. All you gotta do is carve out time in your schedule that's realistic, time that you will not avoid, whether that's doing something every day while you do your dishes, you're listening to your audio tapes, or you're reading before bed, or you're texting a friend every single day in your target language. You need to carve that out. And of course, if you schedule lessons or actually schedule things in your calendar, it's gonna be even better for you. But planning is essential here. In Fluentish, I actually included a whole planning section, which I'm gonna show you. And that's because without that accountability, without that checklist of what you need to do every day, it's gonna be really hard to stay on top of it. As always with anything good, you gotta know why you're doing it, why are you learning the language, make it juicy, make it deep. Can't be superficial. It needs to be something that could possibly change your life. I'll give you an example. I'm currently learning Flemish, which is Dutch spoken in the north of Belgium, and it's a language I never in a million years thought that I would learn. And initially it was for my boyfriend, but then I was like, hold up, this is gonna give me access to Dutch speaking places all over the world. All of a sudden, I can go to the Netherlands and waltz around and talk to people and learn how they think, or I can go to Suriname and like the world is now more available to me when I learn Dutch. It's not just for one thing. And that's how I do it. But regardless of how I do it, the main thing in this video that you're gonna learn is like, it's not all about how I do it or any other polyglot. You gotta know how you learn. Which brings me to part 2, action and accountability. The A in the OnPar Franco language learning method. I hope this isn't somebody else's method because I swear it's like too good, too easy to do this. So action, everything in life that actually moves needs to take action. You gotta take action, you gotta wake up, do it, even if you don't want to do it, you got to make it work. But then there's accountability, which is keeping you on action for a long time. It doesn't matter if you study vigorously for a week and then you fall off. It's actually better if you study smaller chunks, smaller doses, and then you do it more consistently. The consistency is what you need to be doing here. Damn, could I squeeze a C in there somewhere for consistency? OnPar consistency and community. That's coming up in part 2 of this video. We gotta talk resources here, and I created an entire guide in the free language learning starter kit that breaks down all the resources that I recommend, and this is a living, breathing document. I add resources to this list when I find new ones. The thing that I outline in that resource document is that you are gonna need to know the very important question of how do you learn? Doesn't matter what I do, doesn't matter what he does, doesn't matter what she does, doesn't matter what they do. Are you an auditory learner? Are you a visual learner? Are you a kinesthetic learner? You gotta get your hands and they gotta take some action. Are you a reading and writing style learner? Are you a verbal learner, social learner? Once you've identified 2 out of those methods of learning, I want you to curate your learning resources based on how you learn. And that's homework that you have to do. I can't do it for you. So think back to the first thing that you learned and what made it stick, and then try to recreate that in your language learning approach. You also need input, which means receiving the information. I used to be a big Duolingo hater, and then I realized I was just being a hater because the app has gotten significantly better. Now here's something that I gotta tell you. Yes, it's good to do Duolingo daily. Yes, it's great that I am the Obsidian Queen. However, if all you ever do is stick to your crutches, your apps, you won't go from streak 1,000 to fluent. Doesn't matter how many days you do those apps, if you're not creating sentences for yourself, you're not actually building a path to fluency. So have your apps, have those games on your phone. It's better than not doing something. But if you really want to take your language to the next level, you have to write your own sentences. You have to say the thing that you're doing out loud as you're doing it. So it's a combination of the resources that's going to take you from flat to fluent. Pimsleur is one of my personal favorites. It's an audio resource that I have used many times while working out, while doing the dishes, while painting my nails. And it's input that allows you to regurgitate what the local speakers are saying. One, I'm a multitasker. My life is busy, and I bet yours is too. So it allows you to do things at the same time, driving and learning Arabic, whatever it is. It's great for the busy people. You pay a subscription fee, or you could buy courses directly. And I actually like that, because once you put some money in the game, you put skin in the game, you're gonna show up more than maybe the free apps. Language Reactor, which was formerly known as Learning Language with Netflix, is a Chrome extension that pimps out your Netflix and other streaming platforms to become language learning empires, basically. You get double subtitles, you can slow things down. It's awesome. So Language Reactor is definitely something to check out. Downloading a VPN to browse different media outlets in different countries. I'm watching Belgian shows because I'm basically in Belgium based on my VPN, and it's stuff that I wouldn't get access to. It literally is blocked if I'm logging in with my US phone. But the minute that I use the VPN, I get VRT Max, which is like Belgium's public service TV. I'm sorry, y'all, I'm gonna pay taxes, I swear. Of course, you gotta love the streaming platforms that allow you to look up different music in different countries. And a lot of these songs have the lyrics function, which I love because I turn my Spotify into karaoke.
Durch die kleine Straßen, ja, sie haben viel mehr zu sagen, als du glaubst. Sag es laut, sag mir, dass du mir vertraust.
I highly recommend it. And it's not just the input. You gotta massage the material, right? So right now I'm reading Dracula. I could sit here and be like, eindelijk kom ik bij het kasteel van Dracula on. But then I'm gonna be like, damn, did I understand everything? And if I didn't understand everything, I'm gonna take out a translator and then I'm gonna write it down. So it's input and then output, which is next on this list of juicy information. Damn, we just getting started. Okay, let's see, output. Once you have the input in your brain, once you've massaged your brain, you're ready for the acupuncture. What? Like, this analogy doesn't make any sense. Output is regurgitating the information that you're learning. It's taking the next step to write in a journal, right? It's keeping a notepad on your computer, whether you're a typer or a writer by hand. It's verbalizing these sentences. It's asking questions. It's then diving into conversations with locals. There's italki, which is the platform where you can find affordable language tutors. You also have Preply, which is a similar platform. I use both, depends. Ik heb een, like a life, like a leven. Life is not leven. What is life?
It is, yeah.
It is?
If you say I have a life, you say ik heb een leven, yeah?
Ik
heb een leven sociaal. Ik heb een sociaal leven.
Different teachers work on different platforms. You can also sign up for something like Lingoda, which are group classes that are more structured. This is great for somebody who is just learning how to learn a language because it's structured for you, so it's not this awkward silence when you're working with a tutor. You'll just dive in. There's course material before and after the classes. Lingoda is only offered in a few languages, but definitely recommend that as well. Classes give you the accountability check-in that you need, and so I always book a package of classes. It's an investment, but an investment that I will commit to because it's an investment. And again, when you learn a language, it opens so many doors to new relationships, new job opportunities, new financial abundance. And so it's not just this hobby thing. It could turn into a whole new life. For me, it's turned into a whole new life in publishing a damn book. And that wouldn't have happened had I not pushed through and persevered. Then there are apps where you could talk to locals, so you could use an app called Hello Talk, which is a free messaging app designed for language exchanges. Tandem is similar. Another resource that I just found out, thanks to one of my Joe Club members, is called Refold, and it's a free resource that you sign up for, and then you just get a massive amount of more free resources. And for me, as somebody who's learning Flemish, which is a version of Dutch that's not popularly studied, it was one of the only platforms that acknowledge the fact that when you're learning Dutch, there's going to be different dialects, there's going to be different accents, and that shocked me. I've done this a lot, and many platforms just either ignore the lesser spoken languages or just kind of glaze over them. So Refold, highly recommend. It is in my language learning kit that hopefully all of you will be downloading by signing up to my newsletter. Let's see what else I got for y'all. And of course, something I love doing is making actual friends all around the world and making sure that I keep tabs on them, sending them lengthy voice notes on WhatsApp. I'm the queen of the long voice note. Luckily, you can play those on 2x because my Italian stuttering ain't cute. Having real connections is gonna breathe life into your language learning process, and it's gonna remind you that learning a language is for human connection, it's for empathy, it's for emotional intelligence, it's just for this like warm and cozy feeling that you want to get with more people around the world. That's why I learn languages. It's for those small but meaningful moments with strangers around the world that give you hope in humanity. Am I intense? Absolutely. Do I have a good reason for it? I hope so. Part 3 of my OnPar method is the R's for OnPar. Review, repetition, reward. Now, this part is the glue, is essential. You need to repeat, repeat, repeat. And this is where time just does what it does. If you're doing what you do, time is going to be on your side if you just stick to the goals that you started out this journey with. This is why having an accountability tracker is really important. That daily habit tracker, essential. Joe Club and Fluentish, this is what we're all about. It's like sticking to the daily tiny nothingness that creates the everyday everythings. There's this concept called the forgetting curve. So here's my analogy to explain the forgetting curve. When you get a seed and you plant it, if you've ever done this, you might notice that in the very few weeks, the beginning stages of the seed, you need to water it often. You need to give it a lot of light, a lot of attention. Even play some Bob Marley for that seed, and it'll start to sprout. And as it's sprouting, you need to continue that care, very diligent care. If you forget to water it one day, kaput, it's dead. But then if you continue to nurture this seedling, it'll grow into a proper plant. And the minute that it has a full mature leaf on it, you won't need to water it as much. Learning language is the exact same. In the beginning stages, you are nurturing a seedling. You need constant attention, constant study, constant review. But the longer you study, the more space you'll be buying yourself, so that if you've been studying every day for 6 months and you don't remember to study one day, you're not going to forget everything. But if you only study intensely for a week and then you stop studying for a day, you will forget a lot of it. There's information about the forgetting curve that I highly recommend that you look up. For the sake of this video, just know in the very beginning stages, having yourself committed is essential. And as you continue to learn, it's going to fossilize in your brain and you're going to be buying yourself more time. For instance, maintenant, je peux vous parler en français et ça va. J'ai pas étudié. It's just locked in my brain because I've studied that language for many, many years consistently. Ma in italiano non è la stessa cosa. Posso parlarvi in italiano, ma devo pensare un po' di più. It's like because I started learning Italian later in my journey, so even though I can still speak it, it's clunkier than my French. And that's just how it goes. So the longer you stick to your habit of learning a language, the more time you'll buy for that language to retain in your head. And if you fall off, don't worry, you could always get back on. And it's just like riding a bike, but with your brain, which is a lot more difficult. but I believe in you. I have many, many more tips on how to learn languages that I will be sharing with you on this channel and also via my newsletter. So don't forget to sign up for the language kit, and then you'll get the newsletter and all of the good tips and tricks and whatever that I talk about there. The main thing is that you got to challenge yourself. And if you push yourself a little tiny bit each and every day for a long time, one day you'll wake up and we'll be doing this video in a different language, and it won't be because of artificial intelligence. It'll be your brain intelligence, your raw intelligence, RI. And now I leave you with a question. Where will you be in 3 months' time? What language will we be speaking? What will we be learning? And I can't wait to see everybody out there on their fluentish journeys. Ik ben Graf Dracula, zegt hij. Als ik zijn hand schud, voel ik dat die heel koud is. Heel koud is. Ik ril. Wat is dit voor een man, denk ik. Dracula glimlacht naar me. Glimlacht. Time to go. It's Dracula.